We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, stay right here. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please check out the feedback form down below. All right. I am glad to see our streaming software is working. Yesterday's rally was so powerful. I literally think it broke part of the internet. Seriously. All right. Now, altcoins, you probably feel like you've missed it. You have missed absolutely nothing. I will show you the charts to prove it. This thing is going to go up for one simple reason. Elon Musk has told you that you are free to build, right? Crypto and all the infrastructure and applications have been built for 4 years. And most of it is sitting dormant. And I know I've been not pronouncing the guy's name right, but Charles Hoskins, this guy from Cardano, hits the Joe Rogan podcast soon, as I understand it. He's going to be advising Trump on crypto. So I don't know how he pulled this off because, it's been looking like he's been streaming out of his basement in obscurity. And now Cardano's a meme coin, period. And Cardano is probably going to break out every other layer one and all this big stuff from the last cycle that was supposed to become Web3. Said differently, Web3 is now something the U.S. government wants built just for the sake of economic growth to help with the debt. People do not understand this. People didn't understand Ethereum until that woke up. I know there's a lot of talk about big meme coins and how the market cap is doing there, but there is a whole list of things that people don't understand. Now, the other thing that people don't understand, which is sort of like a cultural thing, is this feels like a return to the 1980s. Back then in the 70s, when I was a kid, it was awful. Inflation was terrible. You had to wait in line in the winter in a car to get gasoline, and you couldn't run the car because there was a gasoline shortage. It was horrible. This was worse, but that was horrible. Then the U.S. Olympic hockey team beat the Russians at the Olympics in an upset of unspeakable magnitude. Ronald Reagan gets inaugurated and hostages got released from the Middle East, and it was off to the races. Now, it wasn't entirely off to the races because there was a recession before everything took off. But in terms of Wall Street style innovation, it was just explosive. Not to mention what happened with, what eventually happened with equities when equities bottomed 2 years into Reagan. Again, this is different. The crypto bottom is now. Now, when I talk about a crypto bottom, I'm not talking about this swing trade BS. I'm talking about a long-term bottom where, we're going to start rotating now. Bitcoin will probably punch through 85. I can actually make a case for Bitcoin to go straight to 105. But as soon as Bitcoin stops, the top 100 coins or, the top coins for the next cycle, not to mention all the degens and all those coins, they're just going to explode. And people have been talking themselves out of this market, and you need to talk yourself into it now. So a pause is a dip, period, until further notice. A pause is a dip. Like yesterday when you got 80K Bitcoin and then DeFi came off, yeah, folks, that was the dip. That's what you get. And you got to take advantage of it because, like I said, especially even if you're in Coinbase, whether you've been here for a while, you've not been here for a while, you start looking at Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Avalanche, and Near, right? Boring boomer stuff, right? Not exactly WIF and Doge. They're going to start acting like WIF and Doge, not to mention what WIF and Doge are going to do because big hedge funds are now in looking for liquidity, looking to just absolutely FOMO in before retail gets here. before there's a Doge or Solana ETF. In other words, the institutional FOMO, when this equity market opens up today to get these products and to get all this stuff on the books before Thanksgiving, because realistically, every YouTube influencer is now calling for 100K by the end of the year, which is a radical prediction, 6 months ago. Now you could have 100K on Thanksgiving. You could have 100K next week. I'm serious. That's how insane this could get because it's been so completely abandoned. There are components of crypto that have been abandoned. So we're going to go through the news and we're going to go through the charts and we're going to get everybody set up. Okay, Alexandra, as always, first on the stream. David, Miklo, Brandon, Horace, welcome. Thomas, no sleep season is upon us. Dude, how very true. How very true. Double Ace, David. Yes, we can look at the Trump coin. Hornet, Warmon, James, Arendom, Tim, Tanya, Stefan. Oh my God, from Cuba. Good morning. SGSG, Malik, Zepedas, Zav, Everflow. Welcome. That's a good emoji. Okay, Justin, Miguel, Riyadh, Gian in the house, Thin Bazaar, Ian, sorry. Stefan, Faku, good morning. Okay, news, let's go. Okay, Joe Rogan urges Trump to rebuild American unity. And you know what? I think they're actually going to do it. You may or may not know who these people are, but there's a famous health guy, Dave Asprey, who is joining the Department of Agriculture. A controversial political commentator, Alex Jones, is probably going to take the job of press secretary. Every famous person in the United States who has been criticizing the status quo is probably going to work for the government. Now, that's probably part patriotic and partly because if Trump and Kennedy fix a lot of this stuff, they're not going to have anything to complain about. They're not going to have anything to say on social media. So they're all going to work for the government, right? And the government actually wants to fix things. And I really do believe the fact that Trump is appointing a lot of women to top jobs, meaning that he's actually serious. He is serious about stopping this division and getting something done. Now, it's not to say that the current people are not going to push back. There is something going on in the U.S. Senate where the Senate Majority Leader, even though he's Republican, is trying to do some things about who runs subcommittees and secret elections for who's in charge of various parts of the Senate to try to stop Trump. Tucker Carlson has already got us calling our senators, saying, don't let the drug companies and the food companies and the defense companies, manipulate the Senate. It's not going to work. It's not. Okay. So again, Trump is appointing women to chief of staff and UN ambassadors, because basically a lot of American women are kind of like melting down over this because of social and health issues. Some people think that they're going to have their rights taken away. None of that is true, but Trump is currently trying. Now, this guy, Alex Jones, who forget about mentioning him on a regular YouTube channel, he's pretty loud. He's pretty accurate, and he's probably going to be press secretary, which means this administration won't be taking any nonsense from the legacy media. It's almost like ending the legacy media's bias, because you're not talking to Alex Jones with nonsense. Again, I would never do this coin, but this guy's coin is awake. Eagle King showed it to me at 600,000. It's now at 1 million. If this guy is doing this job, then things could get insane, right? Political meme coins may become it may be now celebrity meme coins. Alex Jones could be the first one. We'll look at the Trump coin, continue to believe that needs an exchange listing. The orange man got the highest number of votes ever recorded for a Republican candidate. Elon Musk and Robert Kennedy are in meetings with Trump to build his cabinet. So, like I have said all last week, if you think Trump is kidding, if you think Kennedy is kidding about putting people in the government that are not owned by lobbyists, this includes the SEC, and they are serious about building stuff and getting regulation and cost cutting and all this stuff. If you think these guys are kidding, you're wrong. People don't fully understand this. These guys are single-minded, and they don't care about what anybody thinks. They're going to go do what's right. And that for crypto is just explosive, especially for the tech part of crypto, which frankly was so depressed and so depressing, it hasn't fully woken up yet. Like, for example, I went to to an old employer's website who they're really good at parsing data. And I tried to search, what are the coins in the Polkadot ecosystem? They took it out. I had to go to like ChatGPT or some equivalent to say, okay, what are all the Polkadot connected coins? Can't find it. Polkadot, Avalanche, all this stuff that was huge in 2021, that was a gigantic venture capital pump and dump. This stuff's actually going to get used now. And Cardano is telling you that. And people are missing that. They're missing that as a meme for Charles Hopkins, and they're missing it as a crypto infrastructure play. Completely missing it. The thing that people understand is that the 4 companies that make all 72 vaccines, which is Pfizer, Glaxo, Merck, and Sanofi, all of these companies are convicted felons. And not only that, they're serious felonies. Their business model is committing felonies. That's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Like, these companies are in so much trouble. It's like, I don't know how these companies stay out of trouble, right? Like, every bad actor is gone. And if they're going to get the drug companies, well, you can for sure bet that the SEC is going to be focused on protecting people, not crushing crypto. And again, this is not priced into the market. Okay, so a censorship bill is coming. A no censorship bill is coming. Okay, note the change in the orange man's social media, right? Instead of trying to, do full body shots and make him look like an approachable dad bod, sort of older, nice guy. Now it's like all shoulders above, dark blue suit. Let me tell you how it's going to be reading off a teleprompter. Again, these guys are not playing around, and it's ridiculously bullish crypto. Okay, Vivek Ramaswamy is a finalist for Secretary of State. This guy is he's young, and he's aggressive, and he's very opinionated, right? Meaning if he has a view, you know it. Now he's got that under control, but if that guy's the Secretary of State, he won't mince words. If Trump wants peace, he'll get peace. Okay? Like, this is a little joke, right? I want all the fighting to stop. Putin and Zelensky. May not be totally realistic, but they are serious. All right, let's not do that. So to underscore the point, American women are kind of losing their mind. They're really upset. There's a part of the population here that's really upset. And you know what? Crypto solves this problem. You get all of these people who are upset into Bitcoin, whether they find it organically or someone actually tells them about it. End the division. End it. End it. Okay. It's a little scary. Okay. Bitcoin all-time high, right? People worshiping Bitcoin. It's funny. It's good art. Okay. But you know what? Even though, we're going to go over fear, greed. Everyone's going to tell you sentiment's out of control. Everyone's going to tell you this. No, it's not, because you have a fundamental shift. You have a fundamental shift coming out of a world where people thought everything was dead and it was arranged, and just the excuses to do nothing, sell, take profits. That is all over. That is so done. And this could be accurate in the sense that people are going to figure out what crypto and Bitcoin is really all about. Like, we're going to see 2017 level thunder. And again, don't like hold me to this, but you could have 105K by Thanksgiving. That I don't understand what are we waiting for? And then the massive rally, the Santa rally, is in altcoins and ETH. In other words, everyone's like, well, you're going to have 105K by Christmas. No, man, you could have 105K by Thanksgiving. And then you could have 10K or 6K ETH by Christmas. That's what could happen here. Just it's going to get insane, and you got to get ready now because the market's giving you an opportunity to do it. Okay, Ethereum fear greed is at 77. Who cares? Everybody thought ETH was going to zero and no one owns it. That's my attitude. Bitcoin fear greed is at 76. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes to 90 or 100 in 2 weeks, this will be all the way over here and it'll be excessive. Bitcoin will correct and the whole rest of the market will catch up. Like example, what's fear greed in Cardano? What's fear greed in Near, in Avalanche? These are just examples, right? What's fear greed in DGen? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I even understand it because ETH has been doing well. Some of these base coins, people have been kind of, giving up on them a little bit. That's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you do have to be careful if ETH goes, if ETH goes up sharply with anything traded against ETH on Uniswap or Base. But, the second ETH gets to 4,500, you're going to have ignition on Base. You're going to have ignition on Base beyond what anybody realizes. So Bitcoin goes to 100, ETH explodes. ETH explodes to 4,500, Base goes next. Just an absolute insane parabolic in a very compressed period of time. And excuse me, but if you F this up, you're never going to sleep again. Who cares if you miss Goatcoin? No, nobody cares. This is like stuff you can go in, do on Coinbase, and make a lot of money. Okay. Now, Kathy Wood is explaining it to you, right? Kathy Wood knows. I know. We get this. Old people know. Deregulation, defanging the SEC and FTC and others, government spending cuts, making room for the private sector, tax cuts, right, and a focus on technologically enabled innovation are likely to turbocharge the U.S. economy more powerfully than during the Reagan Revolution. And that is the market update. Just hit the green button. Like, find something that matters and hit the green button. I mean, Kaizen's got their stuff. I have stuff. You can just go back to what was hot in 2021. You can just go through the top 20. And if you halfway understand what it does, it's going up. Okay, what the heck is going on with Doge? Okay, Doge has got like a $30 million, $40 million market cap now. Yeah, 42 million. $42 billion market cap. Yeah, that's because it's probably going to be the official currency of Twitter. The Department of Government Efficiency is happening. This is a meme coin for that, as well as Doge. And giant hedge funds need liquidity, which is why WIF was up 10% yesterday. They have to get involved, right? I mean, this is like the whole market. I mean, I was like super bullish and defiant and not buying into the bearish trade, but I had absolutely no idea you were looking at a massive landslide and a mandate for crypto. None. Like, it's, you can know, like, you see the election and you can know it's coming, but even you get caught off with like Cardano and Doge. Like, you got to start asking yourself, what are the next big 5 surprise trades? Like, could XRP go? Right? Name all the big dead coins. Filecoin is another one that came to mind. A lot of this stuff that people just like gave up on. Here comes the Department of Government Efficiency meme coin, which is now at 176 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, if you don't believe me about how serious these guys are, that you should just listen to the market, especially if you don't like these guys that are in charge. I mean, you don't have to like anybody. You just have to know that they're serious and the market is trading all this stuff. Like now. Okay. El Salvador's Bitcoin is now is got $109 million in profit. They're buying 1 Bitcoin a day and have been. How can MicroStrategy trade 2.7x their Bitcoin treasury? Because they're going to get listed in the S&P 500. And when that happens, every mutual fund on the planet, I don't know, it's like $65 trillion worth of like retirement and pensions and stuff like that. They're all going to have to buy MicroStrategy because everybody owns the S&P. I mean, like I said, with the crypto equities, and I've been through this, people do not understand. They do not understand what happens if the volume in the crypto equities goes up to a point where mutual funds are allowed to buy them, because they can only buy stocks that trade a certain amount of volume. So if you get a certain amount of volume in Bitcoin miners and Coinbase, that mutual funds can buy them. And if MicroStrategy is in the S&P 500, they have to buy it because they have to own the whole S&P 500. They have to own all 500 stocks. That's kind of how it works. So if you have an S&P 500 mutual fund, the definition of that fund is that they own 500 stocks. And there are ETFs. There's the SPY ETF that owns all 500 stocks. Just like the Bitcoin ETF owns Bitcoin. So can you imagine the buying pressure in MicroStrategy? I mean, it's like, Solana all-time high means nothing. Solana ETF is next. Resistance is bunk. Like, if Solana is taking out its all-time high, everything's going to take out its all-time high, which includes wherever it was in March. Assume that when you look at a chart. Try not to buy the market when it's up 30% in one day. But if you get a pause and you're worried about it, you just say to yourself, the market's taking out its all-time high, whatever it is. BlackRock, biggest Bitcoin inflow ever. They bought 1 billion Bitcoin. That's going to continue. This may not end until BlackRock has like a $5 billion day, which they probably will at 100K. $90 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts liquidated in the last 24 hours. Okay, so you're probably wondering who in their right mind is short Bitcoin at this point. That can become an organic part of options trading. So when people bet on the upside, right, or people make bets in the options market, options traders can make hedges, and these hedges have to come off. The higher the market goes, the faster they have to take off the hedges, or the faster they have to buy the market. You know, you're just going to destroy people if this thing goes through 100K by Thanksgiving. Like, all the shorts are going to get blown out. Everybody bearish is going to get purged, and people won't be long enough. Like, the bus could literally just leave without people. I think that could actually start tomorrow. I'm shocked it's not happening now. I'm going to broadcast all day today. Digital asset inflow, 1.98 billion post-election. This number is way too small. Way too small. This is going to go to 10 billion. Right? 10 billion. MicroStrategy remember I talked about buying inside the range? Talked about this thing where all this volume that occurs in the range creates an explosive move once it leaves. Yeah. Mike buys 27,000 Bitcoin at an average price of 74. His average price is 42. This guy's never selling. This guy could be the most famous person in America by the time this is over. And he has a meme coin, which I'm not looking at this morning because you're not doing it. 1 billion shorts risk liquidation at 85K. Okay, this poor guy, FTX sues Binance. When will we ever stop the pettiness? Now, this is relevant. Solana calls for decentralization, criticizes VC influence on Solana. Okay. Well, I don't have to go through all this to let you know a very important fact. Ethereum is back, right? Solana was like the decentralized hot thing, right? And, I'm not going to say this protocol is more decentralized than that protocol. I remember all that BS from years ago. What's relevant is that there are other layer ones out there, right? It's not just Solana. It's not. It's this whole suite of, everyone's talking about Solana and Sui, right? The whole universe of layer ones could explode, especially if they're functioning, battle tested. Everyone's like, oh, well, the TVL left this coin or that coin. Remember how much money was leaving Ethereum right before this thing exploded? I mean, literally, when they write the crypto textbook, this is going to go down in history as one of the most ridiculous sentiment extremes where everyone was into Solana to the point where they thought nothing else was ever going to be needed. And Charles Hoskins in Cardano is about to change that in an epic way possible. Okay, even CNBC has to admit 82K Bitcoin. They're associating it with Trump to a certain degree. That's true because of the innovation, but Bitcoin is less about Trump, I think, and more about what's going on with innovation. Like the Bitcoin strategic reserve and goosing Bitcoin is an obvious theme, but the innovation, the building is what is not priced into the market. Ethereum eclipses 3.2K mark at 3.2K, surpassing Bank of America market cap. I don't know, man. Warren Buffett sold Bank of America, and he's sitting on all this cash, and now he's going to watch crypto, the new tech stocks. He's going to make the same mistake. Well, we don't know. He's probably got people buying the ETFs under the table, but still, you know what I'm saying? There's no value proposition for equities at all. None relative to crypto. Okay, so Wall Street, Bitcoin hits fresh record, right? Solana price surge propels its market cap past 100 billion. Nobody cares about market cap anymore. Like, how meme coins like, oh, it's market cap. No one cares. No one cares about resistance on charts. I mean, we do care, but not in the way where like every time we see resistance, we go like running for the hills. It's not happening. It's not. I mean, there's resistance on charts that you have to respect after an extended rally, but saying, oh, there's resistance, I have to get out. No. People are just going to get out too early and they're going to miss this. And, I'm streaming in the middle of the night, I'm wearing a cowboy hat, just non-stop. Okay, I got to find the Trump meme coin. So, I know a lot of people are probably really disappointed about this. I'm going to tell you something. Everybody gave up on this. Like they all sold it after the election. Sorry, this is a little slow. It's at the Lux Algo discount zone. I mean, the pennant support is all the way down at 63 cents. I really hope that's not necessary. Someone's going to list this. Now, of course, you're probably not going to be able to hold it like everything else, like the way they pushed everybody out of Cardano and Ethereum. But, if this gets listed, I mean, that's all it takes. I mean, the normie world, it probably won't be Coinbase, right? But it could be Gemini or Kraken. Somebody could come along and say, hey, we're going to list this as a massive attention-getting strategy. And if that ever happened, then the whole market goes crazy. So I know there's people who own this, but like at $1.50, it's like, your downside is zero. Support is at zero. It's at $1.50. And if they list it on an exchange, it'll go to 20. They don't list it on an exchange, it's just going to be boring. And it's going to rotate to other celebrities. That's all. Okay. Let's go to PowerPoint. Again, when you see this, Like there's probably a part of you that thinks it's like, oh, I'm late. I missed it. By the way, today is the 11th of November. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to everybody who serves or has served. You know, it's like today, these days, Veterans Day has a little bit, it's a little bit better as we remember the people who serve, right? Okay. Bitcoin monthly. No, this is not Bitcoin monthly. Let's get this labeled right. Okay, this is Bitcoin daily. Now, on the Bitcoin daily chart, the way this works with DeMark is that you're looking for areas where it's overextended. So this 13 signal was a hint that Bitcoin might have been overextended. I didn't buy into it. Okay, it just kept going. Now, today, tomorrow, so 1, 2, 3, 4 days from now could be a 9 signal, like over here. So you have 3 days in Bitcoin where Bitcoin could go crazy. That's a long time in these days. So you got 3 days in this before you might expect any kind of top or pause. Bitcoin weekly. Okay, so this is the DeMark work. Here, these lines are drawn automatically by a quantitative system. So 85K is resistance. You could have 2 more weeks of upside before you even have to think about this thing stopping. I don't see how anybody stops. I don't see how the shorts at 85K don't get liquidated. They're going to get liquidated because they can't back the market off. This kind of squeeze, when you have this stuff going on where it just sits there, it goes up and it just sits. This could go to 85 and it could go through 85 and go to 105 because of the massive FOMO that can come in from everywhere. Like they could just do it. No one's talking about that. Very clearly, it's on the DeMark chart, just in case you think I'm being an idiot. Right? This could totally happen. Take out 85, go straight to 105, and then the bid switches to alts. Okay, ETH. So, yeah, everyone thinks that this is done, and they're crazy, right? Speed, magnitude, and direction for your textbook, right? Here's the crash in August. Range. What went down one way went back up the same way. And you know what? We haven't fully unwound it yet. So 3250 to 3350 is resistance. I think that's the stealth resistance where ETH pauses. If ETH takes out 3350, you're not going to see us. It's not going to stop. Like all this up here at 3500, that's not what matters. The DeMark work says the resistance that it has to get through, just like 85K in Bitcoin, is actually right here at 3300. So if ETH takes out 3350, it's going to go to 4350. Cardano, 70 cents on the weekly chart is the key level. Note here a 13 bottom. I didn't miss it. I mean, who would be like, wow, let's look at the Cardano weekly chart? Nobody, which is why, oh, bottom signal. Okay, boom. This is the new world, right? Cardano on a daily chart. You see these lines here? This is what happens when you take out these big DeMark resistance points. Like there's the level in ETH, this red line. Okay, Bitcoin's is at 105K. You start taking out these big points on DeMark work, the coins explode. Bitcoin Cash, for laughs, taking out its big point at 453. There's another one at 460. I know this has got a lot of lurking Mt. Gox sellers, but if retail sees 100K Bitcoin and gets discouraged, they may just switch over to Bitcoin Cash. They'd be like, oh my God, Bitcoin's at 84,000, but I can get a whole Bitcoin Cash for $500. That's the Coinbase normie mentality, right? Polkadot, has there even been a rally? This is Polkadot's monthly chart. Here's something in my mind to think about. Polkadot is definitely, in my mind, not investment advice. Polkadot's probably going to 50. That's the all-time high, I think. And Polkadot could go to 100. Polkadot's now at 5. Now, if I told you this was a meme coin, called Polkadot the dog, you'd be like, oh my God, I can get in at 5 and it's going to 100. Of course it is, because it's Polkadot the dog. But if I tell you it's Polkadot, the blockchain of blockchains and connecting everything, and BlackRock's interested, you're like, oh, yeah, I don't care. This is going up. 13 bottom on the monthly chart 4 months ago. Near weekly, just getting above all these DeMarc moving averages, just like last year. Last year, this same time. Same price action, except it's not going to take 4 months for near to get to $10. It's just going to go, because this is the first wave, the second wave, and then there's going to be a monster third wave. This is inside of a grayscale AI ETF product. This is just going to go. And everyone's like, well, near TVL has gone down, so let's sell near. Look at this. Look at how we're selling this stuff right before the election. Total 2. This is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. What have you missed? This looks like your grandpa's utility stock. Sit in some sort of triangular or square range, and it's just breaking out now. And they were so nice, they did the retest yesterday or early this morning. How nice of them. What stops this? Total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. So in other words, ETH and all altcoins is worth about $1 trillion. You got to be kidding me. We floss our teeth with $1 trillion. They add $1 trillion into the debt every 3 months. You got to be kidding me. This is going to go, it's going to be like this. It's going to go straight up. It's called a measured move. You can look it up. You go up, you consolidate, and then you go up. Or the other saying is flags fly at half mast. That means you go up, you fly the flag, and then you go up. Meaning, you have a certain amount of distance below the flag, and it flies at half mast. Then you take that distance, and it goes up that much. This is all altcoins. Total 3. So this is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Solana, Cardano, XRP, Polkadot, Avalanche, Near, Filecoin, Arweave, all these coins that like 2 weeks ago were like a joke. You went to a cocktail party 2 weeks ago when Goatcoin was going up. You're like, let's buy Polkadot. Everybody would have walked away from you. You would have been such a loser. You couldn't even talk about Ethereum. I know some of the biggest Ethereum cowboys in the world, and they're like, right around the election, I know you don't want to hear this, but the Ethereum setup's pretty good. Couldn't talk about it. Now, it looks like this is just going to absolutely explode. Total altcoin market cap could go from 725 billion to 1.3 trillion. Just like it did here. Like this is 2021 over here. Just went straight up. You tell me this can't happen again? This was all venture capital nonsense. That's the market update. Okay. Dog with hat to 100. 13 years in the Army and Air Force, still going strong. Sir, we salute you. DGen has started to run. Yeah. All right. You're going to make me look at the MicroStrategy meme coin. Now, look, you got to be careful of all of these meme coins everywhere. Because remember, they trade versus the big coins. If they trade in dollars on a centralized exchange, okay. That's probably why they're after anything on a centralized exchange. So this coin is retraced 38%. It's fine. It's done its 40% correction, but you got to remember something. It trades versus ETH. So if ETH goes to 4,500 and this doesn't keep up, this goes down. I'm just telling you, right? Sometimes it pays to buy the 70% corrections. And I'm not saying you're going to get that. I don't know. But if this did get a 70% correction, then it would be unbelievably interesting. Just be careful of all meme coins versus ETH. Okay, I'm out of time. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.